Commander Jeho Kim stood at the window of Space Station Unity, watching Earth spin below. His home looked peaceful from up here. Blue oceans, green lands, and white clouds. But today was not peaceful. Today would change everything. "They're coming, Commander," said a young officer behind him. Jeho nodded without turning. The aliens, the Galactic Conclave, had arrived 3 days ago. Giant ships that made Earth's best spacecraft look like toys. They had asked to speak with Earth's leaders, and today they would give their decision. Jeho was chosen to attend because of his military experience. 20 years in space defense made him Earth's best space tactician, but even he felt small facing these advanced beings. The meeting room was large, with a round table in the center. 5 different alien species sat across from the humans. The leader was tall with pale blue skin and 4 arms. It called itself the Voice of the Conclave. "Humans of Earth," the voice began, its words translated through a small device. "We have studied your history, your wars, your rapid development. We have reached our decision." Jeho felt his heart beat faster. Humanity had dreamed of meeting aliens for centuries. Now they hoped to join the galactic community, to learn and grow alongside other intelligent life. "You are denied entry to the Galactic Conclave," the voice said flatly. The room went silent. Jeho's throat tightened. "But why?" asked the United Earth President. "Your species is too unpredictable, too dangerous," said the voice. "You develop weapons before medicine. You fight among yourselves constantly. In just 300 years, you went from simple flight to space travel. This rate of advancement makes you a threat." Jeho stepped forward. "We can learn. We can change. Give us a chance, To." "Our decision is final," the voice interrupted. "For the safety of the galaxy, you will be contained." Before anyone could respond, a hologram appeared over the table. It showed Earth's solar system. The thin line began to form around the outer planets. "What is that?" Jeho asked, though he feared he already knew. "A barrier," the voice explained. "It will surround your entire solar system. No ship can exit. No signals can leave. You are quarantined until we determine you are ready. This may take thousands of years." Anger and disbelief filled the room. Some leaders shouted. Others begged. But the aliens remained unmoved. "You cannot do this," Jeho said, his hands forming fists. "You cannot imprison an entire species." "It is done," the voice said, standing. "The barrier will be complete in 24 hours." The aliens left, and panic spread across Earth. Ships rushed to escape before the barrier closed. Most failed. 1 week later, Jeho sat in a dark underground office on Luna Base. Earth governments had united in crisis. They needed a plan, any plan. "Commander Kim," said General Park, pushing a folder across the desk, "we have detected something unusual." Jeho opened the folder. Inside was a report about a small research vessel, the Serendipity. It had been in the far reaches of the solar system during the quarantine. "It got through," Jeho whispered, hardly believing it. "Before the barrier closed completely." "Yes, we lost contact, but its last transmission confirmed it was outside the barrier." "So someone made it out," Jeho said, feeling a spark of hope for the first time in days. General Park nodded. "And we need someone to find them, to see if there's a way to break this barrier. We're building a ship in secret. It might be able to pierce the barrier at its weakest point." Jeho looked at the mission details. It was dangerous, maybe impossible. "Will you lead this mission, Commander?" Jeho thought of Earth, trapped like animals in a zoo. He thought of his family, who might never see the stars up close. He knew his answer immediately. "Yes." "When do we start?" 10 years had passed since Earth was locked away. The once separate nations now worked as one. Their goal: find a way out of their prison. On Europa, Jupiter's icy moon, humans had built a secret base. Deep under the ice, they worked on a ship that might break through the barrier. Commander Jeho Kim walked through the busy workshop. Workers welded metal and tested engines. Their ship, named Phoenix, was almost ready. Commander Kim called a voice from behind a large computer. Jai-ho walked over and found Da-hyun Park hunched over his work. Da-hyun was the best engineer humanity had. He was brilliant but awkward with people. His eyes rarely met others when he spoke, but his mind was always racing with ideas. The engine tests went well, Da-hyun said, showing Jai-ho a screen full of numbers. I think it can work. Jai-ho nodded. Good. We launch in 3 days. Da-hyun looked surprised. So soon. But we haven't tested thee. There's no more time. Jai-ho cut in. The barrier is changing. We need to try now. The barrier had not been static. Over the years, it had grown stronger in some places and weaker in others. Their sensors had found a thin spot. It might be their only chance. Later that day, Jai-ho met with his security officer, Hae-yun Lee. She was checking weapons in the ship's armory. Do you really think we'll find the serendipity out there? She asked, not looking up from her work. I don't know, Jai-ho admitted, but we need to try. Hae-yun put down a gun and faced him. And if we can't get back through the barrier, then we make a new life outside it, Jai-ho said simply. And keep looking for a way to free Earth. Hae-yun nodded. She was tough and direct. Some thought she was too harsh, but Jai-ho knew she cared deeply about their mission. 3 days later, the Phoenix was ready. The crew of 20 boarded quietly. They were the best pilots, scientists, and soldiers Earth had to offer. The ship rose from Europa's icy surface and moved silently toward the edge of the solar system. No one spoke as they approached the barrier. I can see it, said the pilot. Ahead, space itself seemed to shimmer slightly. Jai-ho turned to Da-hyun. Now, Da-hyun activated the special engine he had designed. The Phoenix shuddered as new energy flowed through it. Full speed, ordered Jai-ho. The ship shot forward. As they hit the barrier, alarms blared. The ship shook violently. Metal creaked and groaned. A panel exploded in sparks. We're breaking apart. Someone shouted. Keep going, Jai-ho ordered, holding onto his seat. The shaking grew worse. The lights flickered and died. For several terrible seconds, there was only darkness and the feeling of being torn apart. Then, suddenly, all was calm. The emergency lights came on. Jai-ho looked around. Status report. Heavy damage to the outer hull. Hae-yun reported. 3 injured, none serious. Engine 2 is dead, added Da-hyun. But we're still moving. The pilot looked at his screens in wonder. Commander, we're through. We're outside the barrier. Jai-ho moved to the window. The barrier was behind them now, a faint glow around the solar system. They had done it. Humans were free again. Look at this, called Da-hyun, studying the barrier with their sensors. It's pulsing, weakening in places. I don't think it was meant to last forever. As the crew made repairs, a signal came through their computers. Weak but clear. It's from the serendipity, Jai-ho said, his voice tight with emotion. They're alive out there. Hae-yun looked at the signal source. It's coming from very far away. Jai-ho nodded, a new determination filling him. Then that's where we're going. Set course. The Phoenix turned toward the distant stars, carrying the hopes of all humanity with it. 2 months after escaping the barrier, the Phoenix reached the planet Novus. It was a busy trading world where many alien species met to exchange goods. The crew had never seen so many different beings in one place. Remember, Jai-ho told his crew, we must hide that we are human. The Conclave has told everyone that humans are dangerous. The crew wore special suits and masks that made them look like a minor alien species. Su Min Choi, their language expert, had studied alien languages from old transmissions caught by Earth's telescopes. She would help them talk to the locals. The signal from serendipity came through this area, Da-hyun said, looking at his small computer. Someone here might know something. They walked through a busy market. Strange smells filled the air. Colorful tents covered unusual goods. Aliens of all shapes and sizes moved around them, some with too many arms, others with skin that changed colors. Su-min stopped at a food stand and spoke to the seller in a clicking language. After a short talk, she turned to Jaiho. He says there was a ship that matches Serendipity's description here about a year ago. Its crew was taken by officials. Officials? Jaiho asked. From the conclave. Su-min nodded. A group called the Architects. Very powerful. As they continued through the market, they heard a loud crash. A building at the edge of the market had partly fallen down. Aliens ran away in fear, but Jaiho heard a small cry from inside. Someone's trapped in there, Hei-yun said, already moving toward the building. Wait, Jaiho called. We can't draw attention. But Hei-yun was already climbing over fallen stones. Jaiho and Da-hyun followed. Inside, they found a small alien child pinned under a heavy beam. Its skin was purple, and it had large, scared eyes. We need to lift this, Hei-yun said. But it's too heavy for one person. The beam would be too heavy for any one of the local aliens to lift. But humans, who grew up in Earth's stronger gravity, were stronger than most aliens. We'll have to reveal ourselves, Jaiho said after a moment. He took off his mask, and the others did the same. Together, they lifted the heavy beam. Da-hyun quickly pulled the child to safety. Outside, a crowd had gathered. When the humans emerged carrying the child, there was a moment of shocked silence. Humans, whispered one alien. The word spread through the crowd. The child's parent rushed forward, taking their little one with many thanks. Then they looked at Jaiho with wide eyes. You are the quarantined ones, the parent said in broken human language. We hear stories. They say you are dangerous. Is that what the conclave tells you? Jaiho asked. Yes, but I see you saved child. This is not action of dangerous being. Word spread quickly. Soon, many aliens wanted to meet the humans. Instead of fear, they showed curiosity. An old alien with green skin approached Jaiho. I am traitor. I travel much. I hear rumors about your kind being kept away unfairly. Unfairly? Su-min asked. Yes. Some say Conclave fears humans because you learn too quickly, adapt too well. They worry you become more powerful than them. That night, as the crew gathered in a quiet corner of a local inn, Su-min shared what she had learned from talking to locals. The Serendipity and its crew were taken by the Architects, a secret group within the Conclave. They study beings they think are special or dangerous. Where did they take them? Jaiho asked. To a research station. But there's more, Su-min added. I also heard about a group called the Resistance, aliens who fight against the Conclave's rules. Hei-yun leaned forward. Can they help us? Su-min nodded. They might. And they might know more about why the Conclave really fears humans. Jaiho looked at his small crew, then at the stars visible through the window. Then we find this resistance. And we find our people. Finding the resistance took 2 weeks. The Phoenix crew followed whispers and hints until they reached a large asteroid hidden in a dust cloud. It was hollow inside, filled with ships and beings from many worlds. This is bigger than I expected, Jaiho said as they docked inside the asteroid. Armed guards met them at the landing area. The guards had different shapes and colors, but all looked serious and careful. Follow us, said one with scales instead of skin. Our leader wants to meet the humans who escaped the barrier. They walked through busy tunnels cut into the asteroid. Aliens worked on ships, made weapons, and studied maps of the galaxy. This was not just a hiding place. It was a base for war. The guards led them to a large room with a round table. Maps and plans covered the walls. At the table sat several aliens, and to Jaiho's surprise, a human. Welcome, brothers and sisters from Earth, said the human man, standing. He was thin with tired eyes, but he smiled warmly. I am Jun Seo Yoon, science officer from the Serendipity. The Phoenix crew couldn't hide their joy. Here was proof they were not alone in the galaxy. How did you survive? Jeho asked after they shared their stories. When the Conclave took our ship, they wanted to study us, Jun Seo explained. They kept us in labs, ran tests. But the Resistance attacked the lab and freed some of us. I've been with them ever since. Why did the Conclave lock us away? Heyun asked the question they all wanted answered. A tall, four-armed alien stood. I am Xor, leader of the Resistance. Let me tell you what the Conclave fears. Xor pressed a button, and a hologram of the galaxy appeared above the table. For thousands of years, the architects have ruled the Conclave. They keep power by controlling which species can join, and which must stay isolated. When they find a species that learns too quickly or adapts too well, they lock them away. Like humans, Dahyun said. Yes, Xor nodded. But your kind scared them more than most. You went from simple flight to space travel in just 300 years. Most species take thousands of years to do that. Jun Seo pointed to spots on the galactic map. Earth isn't the only world they've quarantined. There are at least 7 others. Species the architects fear might one day challenge them. That's terrible, Su Min said. To lock away entire species just because you're afraid of them. It gets worse, Jun Seo said grimly. The architects have been studying the Serendipity's technology. They're copying human ideas and using them to make better weapons for themselves. Jeho frowned. So they call us dangerous, but steal our ideas to make themselves stronger. Yes, Xor said. And we have learned something else. The barrier around your solar system was only the first step in their plan. What's the next step? Jeho asked, feeling a chill. They want to see how humans respond to isolation. If you stay quiet, they leave you alone. If you try to escape, like you did, they plan to make an example of your species. Heyun slammed her fist on the table. We need to rescue the rest of the Serendipity crew. And warn Earth. Jun Seo nodded. Most of my crew is still held at a research station. I've been working on a plan to free them. Where is this station? Jeho asked. On the moon of a gas giant called Helix 9. It's heavily guarded, but I know its weaknesses. Jeho looked at his crew, then at Jun Seo and the aliens of the Resistance. We'll help you free your crew. And then we'll show the Conclave that humans won't be caged or studied like animals. Tor smiled, showing sharp teeth. This is why we ally with humans. You do not accept defeat. Now let us plan our attack. As they gathered around the table, Jeho felt a new hope. Humans were not alone in fighting the Conclave. And soon they would strike back. The moon of Helix 9 glowed a faint purple under the light of its giant gas planet. On its surface stood the Conclave research facility where the Serendipity crew was held. It was surrounded by high walls and guarded by armed ships. This won't be easy, Jeho said as they looked at the facility maps. The Phoenix and 2 resistance ships hid behind a small moon nearby. No, agreed Jun Seo. But I know someone inside who can help us. The plan was simple but dangerous. Jun Seo had contact with Do-Yun Kang, a Serendipity engineer who worked in the facility labs. The architects forced her to help them understand human technology. Do-Yun will disable the alarm systems for 10 minutes, Jun Seo explained. That's our window to get in and get out with our people. That night, 3 small ships left the Phoenix. Each carried a team of 4, a mix of humans and resistance fighters. Jeho led one team. Heyun led another. Jun Seo led the third. They flew low and fast toward the facility. There was no radio talk. Everyone knew what to do. Right on time, the facility's outer lights flickered. Do-Yun had started her part of the plan. Now, Jeho said to his pilot. The 3 ships shot forward and landed on different parts of the facility roof. Teams jumped out and cut through the metal with special tools. Soon, they were inside. Jai-Ho's team moved through dark hallways. A map from Do-Yun guided them toward the cells where humans were kept. 2 guards ahead, whispered Da-Hyun, who checked a small scanner. Hae-Yun moved forward silently. Before the guards could shout, she knocked them out with quick strikes. The cells should be through that door, Jai-Ho said, pointing. They found 20 humans inside, thin and pale from years in captivity. Some cried when they saw rescuers. "We're taking you home," Jai-Ho told them. Meanwhile, Jum Seo's team headed for the lab to find Do-Yun and destroy research on human technology. Alarms suddenly blared. "We've been discovered," Jum Seo said into his communicator. Everyone moved fast. Jai-Ho's team rushed the freed prisoners toward the roof. Guards fired energy weapons at them. One human fell, hit in the leg. Da-Hyun picked him up and carried him. At a crossing of 4 hallways, they met Jum Seo's team with Do-Yun. She was a small woman with fierce eyes. "The ships are on the east roof," Jai-Ho told her. "Can you make it there with these people?" Do-Yun nodded. "Yes, but what about you?" "We'll hold them off and follow," Jai-Ho said. As the freed prisoners moved toward the escape ships, Jai-Ho, Hae-Yun, and several resistance fighters formed a line to stop the guards. "Go," Hae-Yun shouted to Da-Hyun. "Make sure they get to the ships." The battle was fierce. Energy blasts hit walls and floor. 3 resistance fighters fell. The humans and their allies were pushed back step by step. "The prisoners are on the ships," came Da-Hyun's voice on the communicator. "Ready to leave." "Go without us," Jai-Ho ordered. "We'll find another way." "No," Da-Hyun protested. Hae-Yun looked at Jai-Ho. "He's right. You need to go with them. I'll stay and hold the guards back." "We leave together or not at all," Jai-Ho insisted. "Someone has to stay," Hae-Yun said firmly. "These people need you to lead them. I'll be right behind you." Before Jai-Ho could argue, Hae-Yun pushed him toward the last exit. Then she turned and fired at the ceiling, causing it to collapse between them. "Hae-Yun," Jai-Ho shouted, but she was already gone, firing at the guards from behind the fallen rubble. With no choice, Jai-Ho ran for the last ship. As they flew away, he saw explosions in the facility where Hae-Yun had been. "She sacrificed herself," Da-Hyun said quietly. Jai-Ho couldn't speak. He just watched as the facility grew smaller behind them. "Wait," Do-Yun said suddenly, looking at a scanner. "I'm picking up a small ship leaving the other side of the facility." Jai-Ho moved to look. A tiny dot was speeding away from the base. "That's a personal transport," Jum Seo said. "Could it be?" "It's her," Jai-Ho said, finally smiling. She found another way out. But their relief didn't last long. Larger dots appeared on the scanner. Conclave warships in pursuit of Hae-Yun's small vessel. "They've captured her," Do-Yun said sadly as the small ship was surrounded. Jai-Ho watched helplessly as his friend was taken. "We'll get her back," he promised. Somehow, 5 years passed. Much changed for humanity in that time. The Phoenix returned to the Resistance base with the freed Serendipity crew. Word spread among alien worlds that humans had escaped their prison and fought back against the Conclave. Some feared this news, others welcomed it. Jai-Ho Kim was no longer just a commander. Now he was Admiral Kim, leader of Earth's first real space fleet. The Resistance had helped humans build 20 ships, each stronger than the Phoenix. "The fleet is ready," Admiral Da-Hyun said. He now led a team of engineers from 3 different species. Together they had created new weapons and shields. "Good," Jai-Ho said. "It's time to go home." Their plan was bold. They would return to Earth's solar system and destroy the barrier generators. These machines were placed on 9 small moons around the outer planets. If they could break them all at once, the barrier would fall. "What about Hae-Yun?" Su-Min asked. She now worked closely with Jun Seo, sharing information between humans and aliens. Jai-Ho's face grew sad. Despite many attempts, they had not found where Hae-Yun was being held. "We keep looking," he said. But first, we free Earth. The fleet moved through space, using secret routes the Resistance had shown them. They avoided conclave patrols and stayed hidden until they reached the edge of Earth's solar system. There it is, Jai-Ho said, looking at the faint glow of the barrier. Home. The ship split into 9 groups. Each had a target, one of the barrier generators. Jai-Ho's ship would lead the largest attack. All ships, begin countdown, Jai-Ho ordered. Attack in 30 seconds. The fleet moved forward as one. When they reached the barrier, special devices created by Da-hyun opened small holes they could pass through. Alarms sounded immediately. Conclave guard ships appeared, firing weapons. The battle had begun. Jai-Ho's ship raced toward the largest generator on a moon of Neptune. Fire when ready, he ordered. Their new weapons hit the generator hard. It sparked and smoked, but remained standing. Again, Jai-Ho shouted. All around the solar system, human ships fought to reach their targets. Some took heavy damage. 2 were destroyed. But one by one, the generators began to fall. Admiral, called a young officer. Look. On the main screen, Jai-Ho saw the barrier flicker as each generator was destroyed. It was working. Admiral, conclave ships are coming, Da-hyun warned. A lot of them. A massive fleet of conclave warships appeared, more than they could ever hope to fight. All ships, continue the attack, Jai-Ho ordered. We must finish this. His ship took heavy fire. Systems failed, but they kept fighting. The last generator is down, someone shouted. The barrier that had trapped Earth for 15 years flickered one last time, then disappeared completely. Cheers filled the ship despite the danger they were in. Send the message to Earth, Jai-Ho said. A simple signal went out. The barrier is down. Prepare to defend. The conclave ships surrounded them. Jai-Ho prepared for the end. They had freed Earth, but at what cost? Admiral, Da-hyun called suddenly. I'm picking up a strange signal. From Earth. What kind of signal? Jai-Ho asked. I don't know. It's not one of ours. Da-hyun worked quickly at his station. It seems to be conclave technology, but it's coming from inside Earth's atmosphere. Jai-Ho felt a chill. How is that possible? Could the conclave have somehow gotten past the barrier? I don't think so, Da-hyun said. This signal, it's very old. It might have been there for a long time. Before Jai-Ho could respond, the conclave ships opened fire. Their small fleet was caught in the middle with nowhere to run. Prepare for impact, Jai-Ho ordered. Then, just as the conclave weapons were about to hit, new ships appeared between them. Ships from Earth, built during the years of isolation. Hundreds of them, forming a protective wall around Jai-Ho's fleet. This is General Park of the Earth Defense Force, came a voice over the communication system. Welcome home, Admiral Kim. Let us handle this now. For the first time in 15 years, Jai-Ho felt tears in his eyes. Earth was free, and humanity was ready to fight. 6 months after Earth was freed, humans and their allies prepared for their boldest move yet. They would attack the conclave capital world, Nexus Prime. Are you sure about this plan? General Park asked Jai-Ho. They stood in Earth's new Space Command Center, looking at maps of Nexus Prime. No, Jai-Ho admitted, but we cannot just defend. We must show the galaxy that humans will never be caged again. Earth had changed during its years in isolation. Humans had built thousands of ships and weapons. They had prepared for the day when the barrier would fall. Now, united with the Resistance and other freed species, they were ready to challenge the architects directly. The plan had 3 parts. First, Su-min would lead a team to speak to the full conclave assembly. Many species in the conclave did not know the truth about what the architects did. Second, Du-hyun and Da-hyun would disable the capital's defenses. Third, if needed, the combined fleet would attack. I still wish we knew what that signal from Earth was, Jai-Ho said. Scientists had found no source for the strange conclave technology signal that Dahyun had detected. "We'll figure it out after we deal with the architects," General Park said. 3 days later, the plan began. Su-min's ship landed openly on Nexus Prime. She carried messages of peace and evidence of the architects' crimes. Meanwhile, Jae-ho led the fleet, hiding behind one of Nexus Prime's moons. He watched on screens as Su-min entered the Great Assembly Chamber. Hundreds of representatives from all conclave species sat in rising seats around a central platform. "People of the conclave," Su-min began, her voice firm. "I am here to speak truth. The architects have lied to you." She showed images of quarantined worlds and secret labs where species were studied against their will. The assembly grew loud with angry voices. "These are human lies," shouted the lead architect, a tall being with pale skin. "Then explain this," said a new voice. Everyone turned to see a figure enter the chamber. Jae-ho leaned forward, not believing his eyes. "Hae-yun," he whispered. It was indeed Hae-yun Lee, alive after 5 years. But she was not alone. With her walked several architects. "I am Hae-yun Lee of Earth," she said to the assembly. "I was captured at Helix 9. But during my time as a prisoner, I learned the truth about the architects. Some of them now stand with me against their leaders." The lead architect tried to call for guards, but none came. Dahyun and Do-yeon had done their part, taking control of the security systems. "The first architects had a noble goal," said one of the architects with Hae-yun, "to unite the galaxy in peace, but over time that changed to control and fear." Hae-yun stepped forward. The architects' quarantined species they feared might one day be stronger than them. Earth was just the latest. The assembly erupted in shouts and questions. Jae-ho, watching from his ship, ordered the fleet to move closer, ready if things went wrong. But then something unexpected happened. Representatives from many conclave species stood and moved to stand with Su-min and Hae-yun. "We have suspected this for years," said one with blue skin. "The humans have shown us courage by coming here today." "The time of the architects' rule is over," said another. On his ship, Jae-ho received a message from Hae-yun. "No need for fighting today. The revolution has already won." Within hours, the lead architects were removed from power. The conclave assembly voted to end all quarantines and welcome all species as equals. As Jae-ho's ship landed on Nexus Prime, he was met by Hae-yun. They embraced like the old friends they were. "How did you survive?" he asked her. "That's a long story," she smiled. "But I made friends in unexpected places. We detected strange technology on Earth," Jae-ho told her. "Conclave technology." Hae-yun's face grew serious. "I know what it is, and it changes everything we thought we knew about humans and our place in the stars." 10 years had passed since the fall of the architects. The galaxy was a different place now. On Earth, a great building rose into the sky. It was the Galactic Embassy, where representatives from hundreds of worlds came together. Today was its opening day. Jae-ho Kim stood on the stage, his hair now gray. Beside him were his old friends, Dahyun, Su-min, and Hae-yun. They had all changed over the years, but their friendship remained strong. 10 years ago, Jae-ho said to the crowd, "Humans were prisoners in our own solar system. Today, we welcome the galaxy to our home." The crowd cheered. There were humans and many kinds of aliens, all together in peace. After the architects' fall, the old conclave had been replaced by a new galactic union. All species had equal voice, and no world would ever be quarantined again. Humans played a key role in this new order, respected for their courage and adaptability. "And now," Jae-ho continued, "I want to share with you the truth we discovered about Earth and humanity's place among the stars." He nodded to Hae-yun, who stepped forward. She had become the head of the Union's history project. "The signal we detected from Earth," she explained, "led us to an ancient site buried deep under the Pacific Ocean. It was a base built by the first ones, the species that came before all others in our galaxy." On a large screen, images appeared of an underwater structure and strange technology. The first ones lived millions of years ago. Heian continued. They seeded life on many worlds. But on Earth, they did something special. They mixed their own DNA with early human ancestors. The crowd murmured in surprise. That is why humans adapt so quickly. Why we learn faster than most species. Part of us comes from the most advanced beings the galaxy has ever known. Da Hyun stepped forward. The architects knew this, or at least suspected it. That's why they feared us so much. But we are not using this knowledge to claim power, Jaho added quickly. Instead, we see it as a responsibility to help all species grow and learn together. After the ceremony, Jaho walked through the new embassy with his friends. Each had found their place in this new galaxy. Dahyun led a science team with members from 20 different species. Together, they had created new technologies that helped all worlds. Sumin had become the first human galactic ambassador, speaking for Earth in the Union Council. Her skill with languages and cultures made her perfect for this role. Heiyun had built a peacekeeping force that protected all worlds and made sure no species would ever be isolated again. Did you ever think we would end up here? Jaho asked as they looked out a window at the stars. Not when we were trapped behind that barrier, Heiyun admitted. But humans have always been good at doing the impossible. The next day, Jaho stood at a spaceport watching a new ship prepare for launch. It was the largest ever built, designed to travel beyond the known galaxy. Admiral Kim called a young captain, running up to him. "We're ready for your inspection." Jaho smiled. "I'm not an admiral anymore, just an old man watching the next generation take over." "You will always be admiral to us," the captain said respectfully. "The one who freed Earth and helped build the Union." Jaho walked through the massive ship. It carried representatives from 50 different species, all going to explore new stars together. As he reached the bridge, he saw the ship's name painted on the wall. Phoenix Eye. "A good name," he said, feeling proud. That evening, as the ship lifted off toward the unknown, Jaho stood with his old friends watching it rise. "Earth was cast out," he said quietly. "But now humanity flies among the stars, not alone, but leading others toward a better future." The ship became a bright point of light, then vanished into the depths of space, carrying the spirit of humanity to new worlds and new beginnings.